Hello everybody and welcome to the 300th subscriber and 300th video celebration, I guess. Thank you so much for enjoying my videos. I'm really happy that you all have. I mainly make these videos, one, as a hobby, two, as a thing to just make people not bored, and make myself not bored. Because it's always great to do something, obviously, which is basically just saying I have a hobby. And finally, because I've always wanted to be able to play games and be able to show off my opinions and show off, you know, cool things and show things that I like. So it makes me really happy that I'm able to do that to such an amazing audience. But hope you enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely comment down below what guns you think are the most radical here. Like, wow, why is this gun so high? Why is this so low? And all of that stuff. But also, some pretenses. So there were 5 different types of weapons. There were true loop, 2 weapons in which they basically completely benefit off of the only thing being that you loop with the weapon, and then you kill a bunch of zombies with them. Forced loop, weapons that are kind of bad and really just require you to loop so then you can even get advantage out of them. Camping, which is weapons that only use the catwalk as their predominant strategy. Explosive, which are weapons that also can use the catwalk, but also you could feasibly train with them, but they are explosive, so you could hurt yourself. And versatile, which is essentially 2 weapons plus every single fully automatic weapon that has actual speed. Movement speed, that is. So, I hope you all enjoy. I'm not going to tell you which ones are which. You'll be able to kind of figure it out as I tell you. But we have 5 ranks here, S rank to D rank. C rank is a special rank that is made basically because 2 of the weapons are in the forced loop tier. Just so you can understand kind of what the forced loop tier is. Also, in general, I can just tell you that the forced loop tier is just C and D rank. There's not much to really say there. But D rank, we have at number 22, the Armageddon. This is the Kar 98K Pack-a-Punched, and although it is a wall weapon, meaning that it's so easy to get, it's just getting it off the wall, you don't really get much from this. It is a one-shot body shot until like round 12 or something, which is pretty nice. It also has a bit of PS, being able to kill 3 zombies. And it is basically the scoped Kar 98K, but better. It's a one-shot headshot until around round 22, and also can kill 3 zombies per headshot, has 8 bullets in the magazine clip, you know, well, it's a clip, not a magazine. It said magazine with quotations, but you can't see that. And also it has, you know, 60 in reserve, so it has a fair amount of ammo, 1 ammo away from 69, which is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, the Armageddon just doesn't have the firing speed to really make it work. I think if it was maybe 1.5 bullets per second, so if they kind of like doubled the firing speed, like the rate of fire in like a beneficial way, I think that this would be really useful as a weapon, but because it doesn't have that, it still has the clunky, realistic firing mechanism, and not, you know, a pack-a-punched version of it. It kind of just falls off, which is why it's the worst weapon in, sadly, Durice. By the way, all of these guns are only about Durice Pack-a-Punch, by the way. So at number 21, we have the G115 Compressor, and this weapon has 160 bullets in reserve and 12 bullets in each of the, I think actually magazines for these ones, but it's probably just still a clip. But basically, this weapon's just not very good still. You have to click to fire every single time. It has a slower fire rate than the M1A1. It has a slower everything. The reload is 0.3. It has a 0.03 times less damage from a headshot. I think it also has a bit less base damage than the M1A1, but like, that's comparing it to the M1A1. If you compare this to any of the SMGs, like the MP40 is like doing 1200 damage per shot. That's literally double this weapon, and it has a way high, it has fully automatic with 64 bullets and 190 in reserve. Like, that just fully beats this weapon. And that's really why these weapons are D tier, because even though, like, oh, you could make this work, like, it's just so much worse than a lot of the other weapons. So although, you know, yes, you can do some stuff with these weapons, they really are delegated to, like, round 10 to round 15, with only one exception in the D tier, and exception is in quotation marks. But yeah, so this weapon isn't very good, it still looks nice, and yeah, that's about it with this one. So at number 20, we have the M1A1 Carbine, and like what I just said with the G115 Compressor, this weapon basically is just better than it. It has ×3 headshot multiplier instead of ×2.7. It's fully automatic with 15 bullets and 165 in reserve, meaning it has 180 in total, which funnily enough is the amount of bullets that the Bar Pack-a-Punch has as its reserve. So it doesn't really have much ammo. Its clip size is also very small with only 15. That is half or a quarter the size of other fully automatic weapons. And it really is just a problem of it's a 600 point weapon, so they really didn't want to do anything with it. But even the Kar 98K is more damage. At least give it some sort of niche. I think if it had higher damage, it would be pretty cool. I would love to be in a world where every single weapon kind of got the ability to fight, at least till round 20. And the next gun on this tier list, the final gun of D rank, can kind of do that, at least feasibly. But yeah, this weapon, it can serve you to like maybe round 15, but that's still really pushing it. I'd still recommend not pack-a-punching this weapon. You can still do it. It has pretty good damage, pretty good firing speed, and the reload can actually be pretty decent, especially if you save a bullet. But other than that, like, it's a 600 point rifle, you're not meant to pack-a-punch this. But yeah, you still could do something with it, which is why it's here. At number 19, we have the Widowmaker, which has 210 bullets in total, a 30 bullet magazine, which is double the Windishins. So basically, this weapon's just a better Windishins in almost every single way. It has a little bit, I think, more base damage, which means it has, I think, around about the same damage, or kind of the same. It does like around like not 800, like, yeah, probably like 800 damage per shot. So it's still pretty feasible for headshots to be really effective. As you can see in this clip, like 4 headshots can still kind of kill a zombie, which is still pretty formidable on round 19, obviously, where they basically have 2,000 health. The only problem with it really is just it has such low ammo. I think if it had 300 in reserve, honestly, this would be a pretty fair and good weapon. But having 180 in reserve really does kill the viability of this weapon a lot. I do think that this clip, honestly, shows just how much better you can be with this weapon. I feel like I was carried by the PPSH. I literally got to like round 18 with the PPSH and then did round 19 all by, you know, this one weapon. But like, I still think you can do a lot with this weapon. So I think it's kind of underrated, but still only the top of D rank. Only the 4th worst weapon. So in C rank, at number 18, we have the double barrel shotgun, also known as the 24 ball long range. This weapon has range, damage, but just not enough ammo in the, 2 barrels. This weapon has a lot of damage. It can really easily loop around, do a lot of good stuff. It will falter when you have to 2-shot zombies, because by that time you'll also have to deal with dogs. This does kill dogs really easily, and especially when you have Jug, you don't really need to worry about them. But the real problem is just you will hit a brick wall. Yes, you'll get to round 20, but once you hit that wall, the viability of this weapon just really falters. It definitely is like one of the most damaging shotguns ever made in like BO1, 2, and World at War. That isn't a wonder weapon, but it just really suffers from having to reload every 3 seconds. But it's still a ridiculously good gun. And the only other gun in C rank at number 17 is the Magnum, the .357 plus I kill you. This weapon is pretty good, a 3000 headshot multiply or damage, 1500 otherwise. Pretty good. It has piercing of 3 zombies, so it's pretty much just a Kar 98K on the go. It's really good in that regard. The only problem is just simply the fact that you still have to aim with this weapon a little bit, at least. And then other than that, you just have to reload so much that it just feels like yet again, both of these weapons have the same problem of you reload so much that it feels like you can't really thin out the horde enough to be able to do a lot of plays, and if you're reloading, you can't burst through the crowd. So in a lot of ways, when you get to those higher rounds, obviously these clips don't show it, but when you get to the rounds where the damage actually falls off, it really does hurt. But yet again, these weapons are C rank. C rank is basically get to round 18, 20, fine. But yeah, these weapons I feel like have a weird niche where they feel more like secondary weapons in zombies. But definitely you could still use them. Obviously the Magnum is better, and that's about it. So at number 16 we have the Matic. This weapon has 250 bullets in total and a good amount of damage. we're really hitting the midpoint of this tier list. A lot of these weapons from now on are actually really good and really formidable. The one thing I will say about this weapon though is it really does demand you to loop. This is technically one of the true loop weapons in my opinion because of that. You just don't have as much ammo as you do with something like the STG or the 420 Impala or even just the MP40 sometimes. And because of that, it just feels like you really just don't have the ability. You just burn through ammo so quickly, especially when you have double tap. So if you have maybe don't get double tap with this weapon. But I will just say, like, this is one of the weapons where it just feels like you really need to make sure that you're fine, in a way. Like, if you, like, overcompensate, you just spray bullets, you just run out of ammo so quickly that you will just screw yourself. But if you actually are patient and all of that stuff, you can do really good with this weapon, and this is actually a really solid weapon, easily getting you to round 20. The B rank weapons are essentially also getting you to round 20, but can also be used a little bit more. So like round 20 to 25 essentially is what these weapons are like typically, I would say they're known for. But yeah, we're now into B rank. This was number 16, and now let's see some of the other guns. We then have at number 15 the 1001 Samurais. This is basically the same weapon. It has like 20 less bullets, but it has around about like 20 more damage, which modified basically is 100 damage. It has like 100 extra damage, which I do feel like helps a bit more. But at the same time, both of these weapons are very, very similar. But it's just one of those things where it's a preference-based thing. Especially, you know, you could, if you wanted to, get the 101 Type 100. You could get the Type 100 if you wanted, instead of the MP40 if you went the M1A1 route, if you really wanted to. I feel like most people would just get the MP40 though. But, this weapon just has higher damage, which is why it's higher. I personally feel like the amount of bullets is negligible. I don't know how to say that word. But basically, if you are training the zombies on like round 15 and such, it really doesn't matter how much ammo you have, it really just matters how much damage you have. The only weapon that can say the otherwise is the PPSH, and the PPSH is the fucking PPSH, so crazy that. But yeah, I think the 1001 Samurais and the Gibson Matic, again, are weapons that you could swap. So basically, 17, 18, 15, 16, in theory could be swapped to whichever way you want, however I do believe that this way is the correct way. Yeah, I think that both these weapons are very, very similar, and I think we can all agree on that. At number 14, we have the Gutshot, the best shotgun in the game. It saddens me to say this, but in Derice alone, nah, in Derice and in Shinonuma, because it doesn't, the double barrel shotgun doesn't appear on the wall in Shinonuma. Both of those maps, so the two most popular maps for World of War, the Gutshot, also known as the trench gun, is just the better gun in general. It has way more ammo, it reloads really fast, it's really consistent, it has a very fair fire rate. The damage is basically the same as an unpack-a-punched, double barrel shotgun, which is really strong. It means you can basically get one-shots until like round 18. Which is basically the exact same. It has the same damage as a B01 weapon, so it's literally just the raid. Literally just the raid, but it has less fire rate. That's the difference, literally. The only difference between the raid and the Gutshot is that the raid has like 15 FPS higher. Like, it just shoots a little bit faster, that's it. That's the only difference. And everyone shits on the raid, when literally it's the same gun as the Gutshot, the gun that everyone praises in this game. I want you to think about that for a second. But yeah, the Gutshot is a very consistent weapon that can really easily be a terrific sidearm, easily getting you through a round or two when your primary weapon has kind of gone out and lost its luster. Yet again, it can shoot and hit multiple zombies. It has a piercing of 1, I believe. Or maybe even none, actually. It might not even have piercing, unlike the other shotgun. But it could. I think it does have like a little bit of piercing. So it's really strong. It reloads 2 bullets at once. It has 68, yet again, 1 off. But yeah, really good weapon, really strong, and come on guys, the raid is really good. Let's not be shitty. At number 13, we have the B115 Accelerator. This weapon is obviously the Browning M1919 LMG. So this is really weird, huh? B rank. That means a lot of other weapons. We haven't even talked about like the MP40 yet. Like, that's really crazy. Why is it so low? 6.4 second reload speed. Speed cola makes it at 3.2. But if you're really going for a camping strategy, why would you go for the worst option? Like, literally, why would you go over to the B115 when, you know, the MG42 is there? Literally, why would you do that? Like, the MG42 has, like, literally a 1.5 second reload speed. And when you knife, it's like a 1.2 second reload speed. It's insane. It's basically the same as, like, an STG-44. So why would you not go for that, the weapon that's obviously way better at camping than this gun? Even when you do the knife trick, it's like a 3-second reload. You're gonna get fucked by a 3-second reload, let me tell you. So, like, the B115 just doesn't have anything to call its own. Literally, all of the stats from the MG42 and, you know, its pack-a-punched form, and the Browning and its pack-a-punched form are the same except for one. The ammo in reserve. That is the only difference between the pack-a-punched versions and the non-pack-a-punched versions, is they get 250 more ammo. So, at the end of the day, the B115 just gets so outclassed just because of the fact that, like, the other reload is just 2 times faster than it. And in a game like this where seconds matter, especially if you're trying to do a camping strategy on the catwalk, you just don't want to use the B115 Accelerator. It's still way better than, like, so many other options and easily can carry you. But you will still trade it off the moment you have the opportunity. There is no, like, oh, but I like it. No, you just trade it off because there's literally no difference. The only difference is that it looks dumber because it's just way bigger. The MG42 just has a better, you know, iron sight, it has a better reload, it has a better everything. Which, it makes it sad, because I do believe everyone will say that the Browning M1919 is the cooler weapon, but it's just the weaker one, sadly. At number 12, we have the Afterburner, which is the MP40 Pack-a-Punched and one of the most beloved weapons, because it's come back in almost every single fucking game. This weapon basically has 250 bullets, the same as, obviously, it gives a Matic, but it has higher damage, basically doing 1,000 damage per shot, which is a noticeable increase. But also, it's just like a better weapon in my opinion. It kind of has like the good stopping power, but still a really high fire rate that allows you to really feel the damage. It has the damage, it does like, you know, 1,000 to 1,100 damage per shot. And you really can just, like, I feel like if you wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could, yes, use this for a few rounds to really, you know, like round, you know, like you could get it on round like 10 or whatever, and then get to round 20 with like a dog usage and maybe a different weapon pretty easily, and then from there you can use it to kill maybe 1 or 2 rounds of zombies every single max ammo, which is still pretty formidable, honestly, until you get to like round 40s, obviously, then it will drop off way harder. But at that point you're already using, you know, something like, you know, crazy. So yeah, the Afterburner, though, I definitely will say is one of the way better wall weapons in the game. Definitely something you can look forward to. And because it's, like, funny though, it's still in the same rank as the Matic. Like, it may be a few spots above, but it's still in the same rank. Like, you could still really easily use it. It's a wall weapon, really good, and I would not doubt it for a second that people say, I always use the Afterburner. I could easily see people saying that. And at number 11, one of the upsets, in my personal opinion, is the Longius, the best gun in B rank. This weapon is just a Noob Tube, but a bit bigger. It has medium movement speed, 3 bullets, a really fast reload of 1.5 seconds, around about that much. So with speed caller, it's pretty kinda instant. And it's semi-auto, it goes bang, bang, bang. It's really fun to use. It does like a lot of damage, it does like 3,000 damage. Which is the same as, I believe, the Raygun Pack-a-Punched. It's something very similar. But yeah, it's pretty good overall. The only problem is that there's 2 other weapons that just have more ammo. This only has 33 ammo. Another weapon has 40, and the other one has 46. So yet again, like with the B115 Accelerator, there's just better options than this one. So that's kind of the reason why this one has to be a bit lower. But if you do get it, if you get the Panzerschreck, do yourself a solid. Get yourself like a really good weapon, or maybe even just the B115 if you wanted to. Camp and then for a round or two, just point it at a wall with speed cola, and maybe if you want, double tap, and just have fun. It is one of the funnest experiences to just point that thing at the end of the catwalk and just go ballistic. Let's get into it. Number 10, we have the Wonder Warfar DG3JZ. Isn't that crazy? A weapon that removes your jug on a map with like 20 million zombies and your path gets interrupted by a dog every 3 seconds. Or just random debris that isn't there. Yeah, World of War is a bit glitchy. But essentially this weapon is still really strong. The Pack-a-Punch for it is kind of middling in my opinion. You just get double ammo, but hey, it's still double ammo. The funnier thing is still though that, you know, Shinonuma uses the Wonder Waffle way better than this map does. And I think it's really just because of the implementation of the dogs and a way less open area. The comms room, the comms area without opening the comms room is so strong of a loop that it really gives this weapon the ability to shine because you don't always zap yourself with it. But when you're playing, you know, Doris, you are going to zap yourself, which is why it's low. I still had to give it a top 10 position because it's the fucking Wonder Waff. It's infinite damage. In theory, if you just didn't get hit, you could easily get to round whatever the fuck you want with this weapon. But because it's, you know, one of those weapons where it has a downside built into the weapon, even though it's a glitch, it's still built into the weapon. They didn't address it from Shinonuma. It still just means that this weapon just has a flaw. And it only kills 10, so it only kills half the group. And there will still be 4 zombies. So you have 4 zombies chasing you as the rest of the entire horde swarms in on you in that little area. So most of the time you won't even be able to freaking recover from using the weapon. I personally would have had this way lower, but I feel like I had to put it here. Only in Doris can one of the best weapons not be good, eh? At number 9, we then have the Penetrator, also known as Michael Jackson. Essentially, this is a sniper rifle with 10,000 damage headshots, which is the same as the L96A1 from B115 Zombies Pack-a-Punch, also known as the, what is it? I think it's the L115 Accelerator. That's what it's called, the L115 Accelerator. This is the same weapon as that. If you watched my video, which you probably haven't, because it only has 25 views, of the dual silver saviors, the BO1 1-hour video, on round 30, I use the L96A1 for the entire round, pack-punched, and still one-shot headshots on round 30. That's how good that weapon is, and that's how good this weapon is. It can kill up to 7 zombies in a single shot, because that's why it has its name, not because of legal accusations. And basically, it's just really strong. You can use it as a camping weapon. If you wanted to, you could also use it as a looping weapon. Please don't do that. But basically, you know, it's really strong. I really wish it would have a slightly better movement speed. But yeah. You'll definitely be able to see the improvement that this weapon would have in BO1 zombies. But it's still really good in my opinion. It can kill until round fucking 32. Well, 33 actually, because it's still a one-shot on round 32. But it can still kill on round 32, one-shot headshotting 7 zombies at a time. That is absolutely preposterous from a weapon, especially in this game. And because it has 68 bullets, it can still really rip and tear through maybe even a round or 2. Probably only a round. Like, you could probably kill all of the zombies on round 32 by itself single-handedly. Like, that's still really big of an achievement. But yeah, obviously it's a very clunky weapon. It's really hard to use. But I think, personally, definitely deserves one of the top 10 slots. At number 8, we have the Barracuda FU All. So, this is where I was talking about. Literally, 7 to 13 these LMGs are. That is such a big difference. That is literally like a 6, technically a 7 slot difference in this ranking. And it really is just because of that reload speed. I honestly think easily round 20 with the MG42. It's just a really consistent weapon with a really great firing speed, and if you use the knife tech, especially with the Bowie knife, you just reload so fast. there's just no point not to use this. It's so freaking good. It's so crazy. Unless you obviously get one of the weapons higher. But even then, I would still highly recommend using the Barracuda FUL. It's very insane. There's not really much to say about it. I think it does look absolutely stunning. The ammo, the massive like bell of ammo. It has a nice little blue splotch on it, and I think that looks really nice. I think that actually really brings out the weapon a little bit more. But yeah, that's number 8. I just wanted to show you the difference there. No, that's number 8. And at number 7, we have the C3000B Archers, also known as the C-3000 B1AT-CH35. But it's the same thing. So this weapon is the pistol Pack-a-Punched, and unlike the Mustang and Sally, it is only one pistol. And essentially, it is a Dirty Harry, which is like the campaign death card, if you've seen that. Where basically they give you a slow-firing pistol that's an explosive weapon. It's basically that from the campaign. Fun fact, the Dirty Harry pistol is actually a testing weapon in zombies that you can actually use. So that's really funny in my opinion. But yeah, so basically this has 13 bullets over the long ES, which is the main reason why it's so high. It also has high movement speed, and it basically has the same firing rate, but it has 3 bullets, and it also has a 1.8 second reload, which is basically a it's a 1 second reload. Like, it's really fast. It doesn't have the nice at the end of it, but it's still just a really good reload, and it just gets you where you need to be, honestly. It's really insane. Yet again, though, it's basically one of those weapons where you're probably just going to be camping, and it's really just there, like if you have wrist cramps or something. Just point it at the wall, bang, 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 reload, bang, bang. Like that's all you really do with this weapon. You can use it for looping, but honestly, with some of these explosive weapons, it really just feels better to use them for, quote-unquote, their more personal purpose. But yeah. At number 7, we have the C3000B Archers. At number 6, the biggest upset of the entire damn thing, in my opinion, the Imploder, the M1 Garand with launcher Pack-a-Punched, is number 6 on this list. Just not getting the number 5 slot. Not really, but in my mind it does. It has 40 grenades, 3 at once, so it's basically the longiest. It's literally just a longiest with another weapon attached. It has medium move speed, so it is a bit slower than the pistol. However, you get another damn weapon attached. So in theory, you can literally, like, for 2 rounds or something like that, just shoot the wall. But before that, basically, because every 5 rounds you get dogs, right? So for 2 rounds or 1 round, you can just use the main weapon to get a bunch of headshots, train around, get a bunch of headshots, and then just shoot the wall for the next 2 rounds. Maybe get a nuke, maybe get max ammo, maybe get insta-kill, so then you can really just kill things. You can just do a lot with this weapon, and I feel like it's so crazy that this is the first versatile weapon in the game. And by versatile, I mean dual action weapons. So things like the AUG, the M16, things like that. Weapons that are so loved because of their dual functionality began here with the Imploder, and it really doesn't get any respect. And I think it's because of the fact that most people don't use it on Derice. And I think if you use it on Derice, you can actually see how useful it is. You can either camp with it, with the explosives, or you can train with it as just a regular gun. And I feel like that's so valued and represented in the game. Because, with the explosions, every single time you hit a zombie with an explosion, that's 10 points, right? Like, if this was a wall weapon, you could easily get infinite ammo. But sadly, it's not. And infinite ammo is what the next gun has. So at number 5, we have the 420 Impeller, which is the gun that, replaced the bar as a wall weapon. And way better. It was so good. Basically, this weapon has 460 bullets. It has 400 in reserve, 60 in the magazine. Medium movement speed, pretty good everything else. It has like a 3 times headshot multiplier, so a bit worse. But it literally, if you hit almost every single shot, you literally can get infinite ammo with this weapon, which is outstandingly good. Which is why it just has to be in the top 5 slot. It already is a good weapon, has a lot of ammo, really solid overall, The location is a bit bad because you do have to go into one of the two really narrow hallways where you can very easily get screwed. And I recommend the one with the barricade because that's the closer one to the weapon, because if you don't go that way you still have to go past it anyway. So you're probably going to get screwed if you do that. If you go the other way, obviously. So, like, this is just a weapon, though, that in theory can do literally anything you want it to do, which is why it has to be so high. Also, just the fact that this is a wall weapon as well, it's so crazy. I will say, though, that it does do a bit less damage than the next gun on the list, and the next gun on the list has a way better location, and we're already getting into it, so we may as well talk about it. And number 4, the final gun of A rank, the Wonder Waff to here is A rank, is the Spats 447 Plus, also known as the STG-44. This weapon is insane. Honestly, I said it in my video about the Spats 447 Plus. I said it, and I meant it when I said, this weapon has BO2 levels of quality. This weapon's just insane. 360 bullets, really good location, really good reload, really good damage, has like a 4x headshot multiplier. It's just really solid. It basically does everything you want it to do, and like honestly, anytime I want to get a wall weapon, I just get this weapon. It just really carries you that easily. Like, if you want a weapon that can carry you, but you still have to think a little bit, the Spats is for you. Like, if you don't want to camp, just use the Spats. It's like that easy. Like, it's so crazy to me that a wall weapon that seems just so normal and mundane as the Spats is just so crazy. Honestly, they could have changed nothing about this weapon for BO2, and it would perform the same. I honestly believe that the BO2 version is probably just exactly the same except for a new model. I think that's like the only difference, honestly. That's just how crazy this weapon is. But now, I think we all have to sit down and relax a little bit. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I really would like to get to 1,000 subscribers or something like that at the end of the year. It would mean so much to me. For the 2 to 3 years I've been doing this, it would just mean so much to me. But we now have the final top 3 weapons of S rank, and I think that we can all understand what weapons there are. But at number 3, we have the Porter's ×2 Raygun. This obviously was when the Raygun was actually still really good. Easily around 30 plus weapon. There's not much to really say about it. You can either camp if you want to, or you can leave your friends behind, and because if you don't loop, and if you don't loop, then you're no friend of mine. And just loop around, you know, making a massive puddle of, you know, limping zombies and then just execute them. Literally, the Raygun is just so good in this game that it kind of just has to have the top 3 slot. As well as one of the other weapons which we all know and love, obviously. But we'll get to that later. The Raygun, obviously, is just a really outstanding weapon, can do so much by itself. It does still have a bit of splash damage, but the range is kind of really minimal. I will say though, if you have like 2 zombies hitting you and you try to kill them, you probably will get downed. But at that point, it's really just about recuperating anyway, so as long as you're a sensible player with this weapon, you can do a lot, because this, yet again, was the time when the Raygun was actually a proper wonder weapon. And at number 2, we have a weapon that you wouldn't really think would be so high, but it just is, which is the F1W nitrogen-cooled flamethrower. Infinite damage, medium movement speed, can loop by itself, can kill zombies, can really just do anything it damn wants. Originally, this was way lower in the list. However, when I was looking at my footage, I was like, huh, it's around like 18. 16, and it just instantly kills a dog. Huh, that's weird. And because of that, I was like, well, if it can basically instantly kill a dog and has infinite ammo, you basically could easily win the game with this. And I do believe that most of the top records for World at War use this weapon. Obviously, Knock uses it. If you've ever seen the Round 5000, it uses the flamethrower. But this one, I feel like it could be used. Obviously, Doris is way harder, but it's a weird contention where it's like, would you rather this or would you rather the Wunderwaffe? Would you rather a weapon that slowly does the damage so then you can really keep your train going safely? Or do you want a weapon that just bails you out but then you get yourself into another situation? And I think that's really where this weapon does shine, with the nuance of it. Just the ability to slowly kill maybe 3 or 4 zombies, have them come into the loop, kill 3 or 4 zombies, have them come into the loop, kill 3 or 4 zombies, have them come into the loop. You can really chip and really just destroy the zombies slowly enough to the point where you don't get overrun and you can just survive. I think if more people played it really slowly with this weapon, which obviously means that at some point you can't get to the highest rounds because there's a time limit in these games, at least in World of War I believe, you could still reach really high rounds, I think. And I think it really just comes down to patience and just good play, honestly. Which is why this is the number 2 weapon. But the number 1 weapon has to be number 1, because it just has to be. The PPSH, also known as the Reaper. I always thought it was the Grim Reaper, but it's just the Reaper. This weapon's insane. It has the same ammo, basically, as, you know, an LMG. It has the movement speed of an SMG. It has the damage of an SMG. It actually has a little bit less because it has like 100 instead of like 200. So it basically does 500 damage per shot, but that really doesn't matter when it's firing 15 bullets at once. 15 bullets at once at the enemy. Yeah, that 500 ain't looking so small now, huh? But basically, this weapon's just insane. We all know it to be insane. It has so much bloody ammo. Like, if you use this weapon, and then you use, like, something like, you know, the 420 Impala, or even just the STG-44, you can just do damage for days. You have so much, like, for bullet-wise, this easily is basically infinite ammo. It's really crazy. But yeah, there you have it. I've sat down and I've done it. There is every single gun in the game as a tier list. And it's pretty crazy to think about all of these different things, huh? There's 22 guns. Some of them are in worse ranks than others. But yeah, that is the list. I hope you all really enjoyed this video. Currently and previously, I was really sick, so I couldn't make any videos. So if you're wondering why this week there wasn't that many uploads, like on Monday there wasn't one, and then Tuesday, Wednesday there was one, and then Thursday, which is today of recording, there isn't one, and on Friday there probably isn't one either. That's why I was really sick. Like dying sick. Like not like dying, but like I wasn't doing shit. Kinda sick. But yeah, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. I'll see you in the next episode. Or the next, you know, kind of gun showcase videos or challenge runs. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.